Gotta go deeper and master it. Hey guys, how's everybody doing? So you know that once you discover it and you become enlightened, right? And you start to see what your true powers are, what you can actually do, and you start to see the truth about what all of this is, right? You really have to upgrade a lot of things in your life. I mean, you can't do things the same way anymore. You can't look at the world the same way anymore. I mean, once the multiverse chooses you, right? It chooses you to open you up, to enlighten you, and to make you a chosen one. When it graduates you from an NPC, non-player character, to what you call an APC, authentic player character, your life is completely different now. So you can't go back. So when the multiverse chooses you, you can't go back and unsee it, right? So that means you have to do a lot of work to shift your consciousness, your mind, your body, your states, because now you see reality on a different dimension, a dimension where you're no longer bound by time or space. So you are actually bending reality into your favor. And this is the realm you guys are existing in right now. So let me share with you a powerful mind hack that will shift your life. And it started shifting my life when I started doing this. And this can bring things a lot faster, smoother, and it takes the process and releases a lot of resistance, and it really shows you what you truly are capable of doing or taking it to the next level. And this is your imagination in action. So what I discovered is that since the world is made up of information, and all this information masked as physical objects, but in reality they are just strings of energy that vibrate and oscillate at certain frequencies that are controlled by the field. And based on these frequencies, my brain is an artist. It paints it, it draws it, it calculates it, and it processes information as my physical world and my physical experiences. So when everything comes to play, and I said to myself, listen, I have to stop thinking in linearity. Is there a way I can stop thinking in time? Because since time is an illusion and everything is happening now, if I'm thinking in time and I'm not in the present, then obviously I'm not in full alignment to manifest what I want, right? You should know by now, things can only manifest in the now. You can't manifest in the future, and you cannot manifest in the past. They're just concepts of the mind. The future and the past are all borrowed from the now. So I had the amazing download from my authentic self and my higher self. My higher self says, Mark, here's what you do. To change your life, start thinking in images and snapshots. I said, what is that, higher self? It says, Mark, project what you want. See an image of it. See a snapshot, like an old Polaroid. This is what it told me, like those old Polaroid pictures. See a freeze frame. Put exactly what you want in that freeze frame and see the snapshot of it. And hold it for a couple seconds and then let it go. I started doing that. Game changed completely. Like, it was like miracles. I was manifesting so much great things. I won the lottery even more. I started things that I desired to start to come effortlessly. And it boggled my mind for 2 years. I'm sharing it with you now. But it boggled my mind for 2 years. Yeah, I spent actually 2 years. I was doing it, but I spent 2 years figuring out why it worked. And it finally dawned on me after 2 years. And it was very simple. I don't know why my higher self took so long. Well, time doesn't exist, but it took 2 years. But here's a concept. Here's how it works. You see, everything comes into existence through images, through photons or light particles. And the subconscious, one of the most powerful languages of the unconscious, is images, pictures, pixels, qubits, information. when I see a snapshot of an image, I'm proclaiming, I'm declaring to my unconscious mind that this is what's happening now. And when I hold that snapshot, I'm also proclaiming and declaring it's in the present moment. This is what you pay attention to. And since this unconscious mind is more prone to images and vividity, it says this is where Mark is existing and this is what Mark is having. And therefore it goes out to work and fix it and bring it in. And the reason why this was so powerfully added is because when you put an image in your mind and a snapshot image and you think and you start to learn to think. Now this may be new for most of you guys. It may take some practice, but once you do it, it'll start to flow like water. But once you start to do this, the conscious mind defers. So hence less resistance. The conscious mind now just sees you playing around with your imagination. There's no need for your conscious mind to interject because your conscious mind says that is an imagination. The conscious mind does not mess with imagination because it says it's imagination. It says it's not real. It's not going to happen. The conscious mind messes when you use imagination in attempt to do something or figure out how it's going to be done. That's when the conscious mind jumps in. So once I started to think in snapshot pictures, a snapshot picture would, for example, I'd see myself already with a winning ticket. I'd see myself smiling with a check. I'd see myself holding my phone, a bank account. I'd see my account, whatever. I'd see the money. Just snapshots. And I held it. And things started to change. And the reason it changes is because reality is itself snapshots. That's what it took me 2 years to realize. This is snapshot. Every moment is a freeze frame. Let me tell you why. You see, your brain moves things like a movie screen, like in frames per second. So you and me are actually going like, but to us you look like constant flow of movement. Because the way the field sends information, your brain cannot gather everything at once, so it has to put them in snapshots and then place them, and then you see a continuation of linearity. That's what the whole field is. It's all snapshots. So I was like, whoa, that's profound. The entire multiverse are frames of snapshots of each moment, of each potential, of each reality, of each situation. And when I think in snapshots, I am in dance and I'm in unison with the field. Therefore, I'm aligned. Anything I'm aligned with, I must experience it 100%. Then the game shifts into your favor. Do you see how that works? Why didn't anybody think of that before? I don't know. Because it was too simple. Maybe because it didn't make sense. Maybe because nobody understood how physics and science and the mind and consciousness works. But now you do. And this is the path you have to start taking. And this is what you have to start doing. If you want your life to change, you got to do things you've never done before to change it. Since you are operating on higher levels of consciousness, you can't operate on three-dimensional thinking anymore. Your whole mindset have to shift. And once you start to see things in the snapshots and you hold them for a couple seconds, your subconscious mind now says, this is where we live, where we exist. This is what we are. What you are, you become. Remember that. What you are in your mind, you become a physical version or experience of it. Now, you start to move on a different frequency format. Now, you get higher downloads, more knowledge, more understanding, more tools, more intuition, more inspired action, more genius ideas, and it all stems because you have less resistance from your own conscious mind. Got it? So yeah, so what you're referring to here, Abraham Hicks says the image for 17 seconds. That's a visualization. That's a little different. What I'm referring to is a stilled photo snapshot, just like a camera. You hold it for, you don't even have to hold it for 1 or 2 seconds. Just hold it for a little bit. and then that registers in your conscious mind. I'm not talking about a scene where you're walking and you're doing things. Think of a picture of a Polaroid camera. You take the picture, you freeze like that, whatever you're doing. That's how the unconscious mind can hold something, because at the core of reality, everything is in snapshots. And how we discovered this is when we discovered that particles actually have a lower density of existence known as qubits. It's the raw makeup of the multiverse. It's information, and these information, they come in packets, and so everything is like a freeze frame in the field. So you get it now? Exactly. So if you're operating in the same capacity as the field has no choice but to operate back to you, right? So you're mirroring. We talk about mirroring, right? You hear that a lot. This is the epitome of mirror. When you mirror, imagine mirroring with the field. Imagine how much more success you're gonna get. Think about that. The name of the game is to match the energy of the multiverse. Match the energy of your desires. Mirror it. When you mirror it, it has to reflect back to you. And you can do this as often as you want, as possible. There is no limit to do it. You can extend it, accentuate it. You can do it 5, 10, 15 times, doesn't matter, because in the unconscious mind there is no time, right? And there is infinity, so you can't tire it out. Right. Now, the comments here says, Mark, I tried to mirror it, but ended up broke. Well, you didn't mirror it, because if you mirrored it correctly, you could not end up broke. So you weren't doing it the correct way, and that's okay, because you're learning how to operate in the field. And there's a lot of information out there that's not totally correct on how to manifest correctly. Yes, there is a right way to manifest and a wrong way to manifest, and unfortunately we have been duped into the wrong way, not by fault, but just by a lot of misinformation out there. And the information is not tied to how physics work. It's just tied to more philosophical things. You have to tie things to how the nature of the multiverse operates. And we now know how it operates. And if you operate on the way it operates, it will operate back to you in that same way. And once you start to put an image of whatever it is you want, and you see it and you hold it, you freeze frame it, your subconscious accepts it as in the present moment. But the biggest indicator, so we get all that. The unconscious will bring it in, but what makes this even more, what makes this so much more powerful? The less ego interaction. The less your ego interferes, the more abundance, prosperity, and faster manifestation you can get. So the name of the game is find a method, find a way that I can keep my ego. You can't destroy it, but is there a way that I could limit my ego's interaction with my manifestation? That's the real secret to do all this. All right. Another comment said, Mark, I lost all my ego from spirituality. No, it's impossible to lose all your ego from spirit. You cannot lose your ego. What you did is you began to habituate your ego in the background. So your ego is still there, but it became background noise. It doesn't affect you anymore. You'll still hear the noise, you'll still see it and hear it, but it doesn't affect you. So I guess you could say you lost it spiritually, but it's still there. All right. So, but the less you can get that ego, the name of the game is. And why is that? Because the ego is the front line to your manifestation. You have to pass the ego to get to your manifestation. Your conscious mind is the mind that makes you think, that gives you desires, that elicits desire, make you feel love. It's the mind that turns on imagination. So that's what you're supposed to primarily use it for. However, since it is the mind that does all that stuff, but it also has an intelligence behind it, so it likes to take charge while doing it. So if I can get my ego to just do its basic job, which is what I just said, project what I want, put it in, and then go back and chill, then I will get more accomplished. And that's what I've done. Once I realized this, the whole game changed for me. And it always happens. Yes, always say. You never say, oh, it didn't happen. You can say, it didn't happen yet. So basically, you ignore the ego and persist in what, and you shall have it. That's basically, and the best thing to do is when you can go into your unconscious and put that image in there and let it take you to the next level. See how simple that works? That's it. Now, if you want to take it to the next level and master manifestation with me, then you can get into my school platform. It should be here somewhere in the description or bio in my page or in my pinned comments. But this is what you're learning: how to use your mind to make it plasticity so it can interact with the field and bring whatever it is you desire into your physical experience. Now you have a very powerful tool you can use and implement, and you can start to see results instantly. So continue doing it. Happy manifesting. See you next time.